I only wanted to have fun, learning to fly, learning to run. I let my heart decide the way when I was young. Deep down, I must have always known that this would be inevitable.
You were really never there. And when you came around, all people did was stare. You chose drugs over us. At least you loved yourself. That's a plus. I try to forget the past. I try to distance myself from your influence. You going to jail when I needed you the most was some coincidence. It kills me to think you just sit there and do nothing. If I said I forgive you, I'd be bluffing. Nothing feels right. It's not the same. When things go wrong, it's you I try to blame. I wish you were here. I wish I could see you. Almost everything people say about you is true. Yet it hurts the way his words sting. Nobody knows a clue. And no one has a clue the pain they bring. Drugs, alcohol is your thing. I don't understand. But I want you to know I still love you. Mom and Dad. Everybody ready?
I guess.
I don't think I'm gonna like this session. Don't be dumb.
Oh, wow. What are you staring at?
The empty chairs. Empty chairs always make me nervous.
How come? You tell me.
Well, there's one way to make sure an empty chair isn't empty anymore. Watch.
He used to sit apart from the rest of us.
Robert?
Who else? I can still see him sitting there. He always said he liked to observe. He'd never join the circle.
I remember.
Let's go, guys. We're all here. Good.
All but Robert.
Is that supposed to be funny?
Lighten up.
I may be imagining things, but I can sense that people are uptight. Am I wrong?
Ha.
Care to elaborate?
I got nothing to say.
How about you?
I'm a recovering addict. Everyone knows that recovering addicts never have anything to say.
When I was on coke, you couldn't shut me up. I didn't know what I was saying, but I could sure talk. I did a lot of coke.
Robert was like that sometimes. That's when I could tell he was using. He would run off at the mouth, nonstop.
I always knew because of the cigarettes.
3 4-packs, Robert sure could puff.
And drink. Last time I saw him, said he wasn't drinking anymore. Only beer. Said beer didn't count.
Well, we all agree about that cop-out.
2 6-packs on his last birthday. Maybe more.
How old was he on his birthday? I forget.
Does it matter? He won't get any older.
He was 16. No, he was 15, I think. He drove a car, but he didn't have his license. Big deal, no license. Public enemy number 1.
I have a suggestion.
Shoot.
Don't say shoot. I'm clean.
Only kidding. You know, your sense of humor stinks. So sue me.
Anyone care to hear about my suggestion?
Okay.
Why not?
Let's stare it in the face. Robert's dead. Overdose. The medical examiner said that there was enough stuff in his system to put down an elephant. We all knew Robert. We all liked Robert. Well, at least I think we did. We'll never see him again.
He was a great guy.
How would you know?
Want to make something of it?
Why don't we forget about our usual session and talk about Robert?
I don't want to talk about Robert.
Chicken?
I don't like to think about people dying. People our age shouldn't die.
Why not?
It's not right.
If she doesn't want to talk about it, she doesn't have to. That was a mind bender. Last week, writing our own obituaries, I had bad dreams all night.
I wrote I was going to die when I was 102. I want to change that. I want to die when I'm 110. I want to die of old age.
I thought writing our own obituaries was dumb. I mean, how am I supposed to know how many kids I'm going to have? Or my partner's name is going to be gruesome. I didn't find it gruesome. I found the exercise interesting. Most people our age don't get to write their own obituaries.
Lucky them.
It helped me.
How?
Made me less afraid.
Of what?
Everything. Other people. You know what I'm wishing this second? I wish I was high. I wish I was as high as I could get. I wish I was so high you couldn't get me down. I wish
I wish Robert was with us tonight. That's what I wish.
If you'd rather have our usual session, it's fine with me.
Why not?
You tell me.
Let's go for it.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed. Okay.
Alright. Who wants to go first?
My name's Johanna. I'm 14 years old and I'm a recovering substance abuser. Grass, cough medicine, crystal, you name it. The thing I remember most about Robert was probably his optimism. The dude was like the most optimistic guy I ever knew. I mean, 1 week he was planning to be a brain surgeon, and no one could tell him different. And the next, he was going to be a government agent for the CIA. And he believed it. After a while, I believed it too. Once he told me that I could always count on him, no matter what. Oh yeah, I thought, you can always count on a user to let you down. Look who's talking. I ought to know. Once he told me that he was going to fix up this old wrecked vehicle I had. And one morning, before my folks were even up, he was out in the yard tinkering with the engine. I couldn't believe it was him. His eyes weren't watery and his nose wasn't running. And boy, did he work. He actually got that heap humming. Robert was a great mechanic, the best. He loved machinery. He told me once that he was going to open up a string of garages and repair shops. I asked him if that was going to be before or after the CIA. But funny thing about that, he didn't remember the CIA, and he didn't remember wanting to be a brain surgeon either. But man, was he sure that he was going to open up those garages. Well, like I said, the thing I remember best about Robert was his optimism. He was really into being positive about the future and all that.
Someone else?
My name's Barry. I'm a recovering substance abuser. I'm 14. Alcohol was my thing.
Is your thing?
That's right. Alcohol is my thing. You name it, I drink it, or I did. Vodka, tequila, wine, Cola with milk, Cola without milk, brandy, didn't matter. Whatever my parents had behind their bar was fair game. I hadn't had a drink in almost 5 months. Robert was funny. That's what I remember best. He'd see me sometimes when I was down out of it and he'd make me smile. I don't know how he did it, but it made me feel like I was, well, I don't want to sound foolish, but he made me feel important. I never thought I counted for much. No one else did either. Certainly not my folks. I said to him one day after math class, "How come you're such a boost to me?" And he said real casual, "Why not you? You think you don't matter or something?" Then he told me this truly gross joke about a skunk that got squashed in the highway. But what he said got me thinking, why not me? I matter. I do matter. To myself, not anyone else. I'm really sorry I never got to say thanks, Robert. You know a lot of lousy jokes, but you were a good guy.
Someone else?
My name is Riley. I am 14 years old, and I'm a recovering substance abuser. We'd hash, I'll be honest with you. I didn't like Robert when I first met him, but I mean, I figured we'd be a good connection. Money was no problem for me. I was the best little thief in town. I never took from my parents, though. I knew it'd be a dead giveaway. I knew how to cover my tracks.
What do you want from us? A Congressional Medal of Honor?
Let her continue.
One day, Robert was behind the school's tennis court, and I figured he might have something I could score. And I was right. He had this funny look in his eyes. I figured he was nodding. Anyways, he asked me if I ever thought about all the people in the world. And I mean, that's easy. Why would I? What did all the people in the world ever do for me? He said it made him sad, the world. That's what he said. I didn't really get it. But anyways, he had a joint. He said he didn't like using a pipe. When I asked him how much, he said, "Take it. You'll probably need it more than I do." He gave it to me for nothing. He barely knew me. And if you think he's pushing, you're wrong. Anyways, he got me thinking. Sometimes it made me sad, but I wouldn't be here with you guys if he didn't start me thinking, would I?
Anyone else?
My name is Charlotte. I'm 14 years old. I'm a recovering substance abuser. Sleeping pills, tranquilizers, I couldn't get enough. There weren't enough in the drugstores to satisfy me. I met Robert when I was on the street. Some character tried to make off with my sleeping bag. Robert chased me down and got it back. I don't have to tell you, I thought he was some kind of nut on the street who sticks his neck out for someone else. He borrowed my comb and asked my name. He was real friendly, and boy did he have the smarts. Street smarts. He could tell you anything you want to know. The address of the free clinic who was dishing out free food, one empty building was the safest. That's how come I got to be here, when I thought I couldn't take it anymore. I never thought he'd show up here. That was a big surprise. I have my own special memory of Robert. It's the way I'll always remember him. Chasing down the street after my sleeping bag. And one other thing. I think he was lonely, and I think he kept moving so no one would notice, especially himself.
Lonely, please. Give me a break.
Any thoughts?
I'm thinking.
You?
Sure. My name's Roberta. I'm 14 years old, and I'm a recovering substance abuser. Blah, blah, blah. I wasn't particular, but if it had an alcohol content of 1%, and if it came in the shape of a pill, a powder, or a spike, it found a home with me. On the street, they called me garbage pail. I can relate to Robert, the OD part. I know everyone's going to say it was an accident, but I think he had enough. Things can happen, you know? Oh, yes. Yes. Once when I was high, I did this with a dull razor blade. Stupid kid stuff, but I thought, who'd care? What did it matter? Things can pile up, you know? It's like 10 people trying to get through a revolving door. The door gets jammed, no one gets through. I didn't know Robert too good, but once we had a great talk about things and grow in a garden. And no, I don't mean pot plants. I mean like, flowers.
What?
Flowers.
Huh?
Flowers! And vegetables. I thought the dude was a farmer. No, I guess I didn't think he was a farmer. No one can take Robert for that. Farmers don't go 3 days without sleep. Do they? Anyhow, I couldn't believe all the stuff he knew. What am I supposed to know from a lilac bush or a cucumber? I asked him one time why he liked to do stuff like that, and he said he liked to watch things grow. I couldn't believe it. I thought that was so deep. We're gonna have a great talk sometime about things. You know, the universe, politics, rock bands, out-of-body experiences, but we never got around to it. And now it's too late.
Any thoughts?
Pass.
Still thinking?
I'm always thinking.
Care to share anything?
I think this whole thing's a bummer, but what's one more bum of the world of life? Fight or flee, right?
Those are the options.
I don't run away anymore. Now, running away ain't easy.
No, it isn't.
About Robert.
Got a name?
Got a problem?
Okay, we play by the rules. My name's Hannah, I'm 14, and I'm a recovering substance abuser. I only had one friend, I only wanted one friend, I only needed one friend. Crack. You could keep your liquor and nutritious food in your nice warm house. If I could smoke crack, I had it all. Or, at least I thought I did. I wasn't afraid of anything. Until Robert told me I was. Boy, did I laugh at him. And then he spelled it out for me, like a teacher writing something on a blackboard. Said I was afraid of coming down. Said I had to keep my head twisted because I couldn't stand myself when I was clean. That shook me up. Honest. Sounds simple, but I never really thought of it like that before. When I was smoking, everything looked different. No problems. When I wasn't smoking, I was always afraid. Those days when I couldn't scratch up some money were, well, it felt like I was living in hell. I felt like my skin was on fire. Know how I got to this place? Robert brought me. He didn't stay, though. I turned around, he was gone. And I thought to myself, boy, Robert knows what this is all about. One very self-contained dude. He'll beat the odds. Nothing will ever bring him down. The last time I saw him, he said he was joining the Marines. Didn't matter if he was underage. He had ways. He always talked about his folks. He made them sound like they were rich, famous, and beautiful. Funny thing, though, he never really seemed to go home. He was always around, someplace or somewhere. I think Robert understood a lot about other people, but I'm not really sure he understood much about himself. Or maybe he needed to see more of the world. Or maybe he saw too much. Or something like that.
How come I was the only one to show up at his funeral? Where were the rest of you?
I didn't know about Robert until after the funeral.
Same here.
It was only me and a few old people who said they were neighbors. It was the first funeral I ever went to for someone my own age. Talk about a downer, I've been depressed all week.
Let me ask you something. How many of you think Robert committed suicide? How many of you think it was an accident? Maybe you wouldn't want to talk about it one way or the other?
What do you think?
I think there was enough of a bad substance in his body and it killed him.
Cop out, cop out.
Accident or deliberate? Drugs killed our friend Robert. Those obituaries I had you write about yourselves, if you remember, Robert wouldn't read his out loud. I think one of you should read it to the rest of us. You were the only one to make his funeral. I think you should do it.
Robert A. Broadberry, 60, of Simi Valley, died last Thursday of natural causes, the son of late George A. and Margaret Broadberry. He was born in Los Angeles, California, where he spent his early life. He served as a major in the United States Marine Corps and was president of Broadberry Garages, Inc. Mr. Broadberry had one of the finest farms in Simi Valley, and he was well known for his work with various charities. He is survived by his wife Lois, a daughter Jill, a son Edward, and a dog Amigo. In lieu of flowers, donations can be made to the Friends of Earth Society and Save the Elephants Foundation.
He wrote very well, didn't he?
Robert was no dum-dum.
He scribbled something out at the bottom.
It's a poem.
There is a land, so I've been told, a place for you and I, where we will walk forever neath some far and distant sky.
Robert doesn't have any more chances. You do. Why don't we all stand, take hands, and remember Robert in our own way? Just a few moments, that's all. See y'all next week.
You knew a lot of those jokes. Thanks for letting me hear them.
I'll stick with it one more week for you, pal.
I only wanted to have fun, learning to fly, learning to run. I let my heart decide the way when I was young. Deep down, I must have always known that this would be in.
There is an empty chair, and part of me cannot believe that you will never sit there again. My heart will always grieve, but I know my tears are less for you and more for me. Your pain is gone and your soul flies free, and I know that a part of you is still here with me. Deep in my soul, where only I can see, there is my love for you and your love for me.
Hello from the